Facebook. I got my man Dolan checking out everybody's questions, so we'll be able to see you. What's up, Smooth Imp? What's going on, Bobby? What's going on, Point D Bag? Coach Hunter? As we start to get questions, whoever types the first question, Dolan will see it. And then I might see it first, and then we'll bring them in. But obviously, as questions come in, it always takes a good 3 to 5 minutes, really, for everybody to start loading in. What's up? Good to see you, Murph. Good to see you, Murph Fix Phones. Excellent. I have a new series coming. I want anyone who's on TikTok, I want you to go to Deshone Live. I'm about to start letting you guys know the best and worst cars that you should be buying or staying away from based on data. There's a lot of people who are buying new cars right now and pre-owned cars, and you guys don't realize these cars are already ranked low. There's really nothing you can do if you're buying a car that is ranked low and you didn't know it. It'd be a shame to be, you spend $15, $20, $30, $50,000 on a vehicle just to find out it was one of the worst vehicles. So everybody on TikTok, go type in Deshone Live. I'm gonna be doing that on my Deshone Live channel. And I think y'all are gonna get a lot of value out of that. It's something I've been wanting to do for a long time, but now we finally get to do it. Hey, Mike, thanks and y'all can start typing your questions. Who's car shopping now? I want you to, I don't care if you want to ask a question about leasing, purchasing, down payments, misconceptions about leases. We spend a lot of time debunking misconceptions about leases that are costing you money. Every single misconception about leasing that you believe is costing you money. I fell in love with leasing at 22 because of the payments, quite honestly. And I'm driving a brand new car. I got my first lease when I worked for General Motors, and I leased a Pontiac G6. It's about a $20,000 vehicle. I was paying $256 a month for it. Meanwhile, my wife and I, we had a friend who was driving a brand new car, similar price car, and she was paying $500 a month for it because she bought it and she financed it. She didn't necessarily get ripped off. That is what it costs to finance that vehicle. So $256 coming out of my young household driving a new car is different than $500 coming out of a young household. And we've never stopped leasing. So anyway, any questions you have, let's go. I see you, Christopher B. Let's get you on. Can I trade my 2024 Nissan for a cargo van? Great question. I wouldn't look to ever trade a car in that I just bought. And I'm going to tell you why. Christopher, a day after you bought that vehicle, it wasn't worth what you paid for it. Let's just say you paid $30,000. The next day, if you put that vehicle on the market, that vehicle's worth no more than $25,000 because it's already been titled. So you lost $5,000 in one day. That's a depreciating asset. You want to take this seriously because, and I would tell you, hey, if you can't deal with the car, that's different. You got to switch it. But if you're trying to replace a car because you want to, someone will get you in a car. Here's what happens. You buy it for 30, you come back, hey, I don't like it, I want to replace it. They're going to see if you're a payment buyer. Give you an idea what that means. A payment buyer is different than a cash buyer or a person who understands the numbers. A cash buyer who paid 30 would never come in and say, hey, let me replace this, because once they see that they lost 5,000 in a day or a month, they're going to be like, all right, I'm just going to hold on to this. A payment buyer is totally different. A payment buyer is like, I'll take the car regardless of if I'm losing 5,000 if you get me to a payment that I could afford. So what happens is you lose that 5,000. It's a net loss. They sell you the new car, and then all of those numbers add up to a higher payment, put you in a longer loan. So instead of like a 5 or 6 year loan, they may stretch you out to 7 years or 8 even. And then they'll say, hey, good news. We got you in the cargo van and we got to your payment. You wanted to be at 500? We got you there. They're not going to tell you it's for 8 years. And that's the problem. horrible deal. You lost big time. You're burying yourself in a car. So a cash buyer again sees these numbers. And what my mission is to show you, anyone who's listening, I want you to know the numbers, because no one can pull the wool over your eyes when you can actually see in a clear way the numbers. And sometimes you may not understand it. That's what I'm here to break down for you. So what I'm doing, if I'm you, honestly, Christopher, I'm sticking in that vehicle. If you're going to make money, that's different, because you can write off the losses. So if you're getting a cargo van, I assume you're using it for business, you can write off that loss. If this current Nissan is not making you money or it's hurting your business, changing that vehicle may be worth it if it's going to lead to revenue coming in. So I would say start with my cheat sheets. Everyone who, oh, I didn't pin the comment on Instagram. My fault, guys. Here you go. Here, you guys can, everyone should be starting their journey to learning how to car shop and get below market deals with my cheat sheets. That's gonna, as soon as you dive in, you're gonna realize that what we're doing is breaking that cycle of trusting just our business to one dealer. We're using online systems. 90%, and some of you, 100% of your deal you can make and pay less than everyone can be done online. Not with a used car, but if you're shopping for a new car or a lease, I guarantee you that 90 to 100% sometimes can be done from home. You're going to test drive in a dealership? Yes. You're going to, if they don't deliver, pick up your car from the dealership? Yes. Everything else can be done at home. Okay, I see we got a bunch of questions coming in. So Dolan, you can queue up the next one. I see one that just came from James Frames on TikTok here. Instagram, we are live. Type your comments. We're going to make sure that we get through as many questions as we can in about an hour. You can ask me anything about any subject concerning cars, car buying, down payments, leases, purchases, trading cars, replacing anything, negative equity, whatever you want to ask concerning how you can get to your best car deal, feel free to ask. And my man Dolan is going to bring the question onto the show. Okay. I see Jay Frames here on TikTok. I'm military. I'm moving to Cali. How should I go about getting a car? When do you need it? If I'm you and I'm military, if I'm moving to California, you don't necessarily need to wait to go there to get the car. Is there a benefit? No, if you bought the car where you're at, all you would do when you got to California is go to the DMV and transfer everything over and re-register the car under California and let your insurance company know, hey, here's my new address. So you can buy a car wherever and then move there based on, your needs. If you're, but here's what I would tell you about military. People make up stuff about the military all the time to make you think you're getting a better deal. Hey, we have this military program. The only way for you to see if we have a real military program is you must speak to 5 independent dealers. Now, you can do this from home. You can pick up the phone and you can ask for sales managers. What I'm telling y'all to do is not going to work forever, because if too many people do it, I guarantee you they're going to start screening and gatekeeping the sales manager's phone. But if you're not using a total online system the way I do, I don't like to talk. And who doesn't like to talk? Who doesn't like to talk? Let's just be honest here, because I know we got some savvy negotiators in here. I know some savvy negotiators tap in with me, but who I want to talk to? Who's the people who, Deshone, I don't like to talk at all? I mean, dealing with a manager will at least put you in a position where you're not feeling, I see you see, I do not, I see you see. Dealing with a manager will at least put you in a position where you're not dealing with someone like a salesman who's literally trained to listen to everything you say, use it against you, use it for the sale. What I like to do though is totally online. And if you downloaded my free car buying cheat sheet, you'll see that. You'll see that what I'm trying to get you to do is move totally online. But until you get there, I would be shopping and talking to managers only. It's just, it makes no, you're not going to win sparring with a salesman who negotiates 10, 15 times a day. And shout out to the sharers. I see a lot of people sharing. I see you, Paul. Thank you so much. Everybody who shares this broadcast with someone, I appreciate it. Y'all help me get this mission out, and y'all are helping your friends hopefully save money on the next car. But what I'm doing is I'm going to get multiple offers, because somebody will tell you there's no military rebate. Somebody will tell you there's a $500 military rebate. Maybe there's a $1,000 military rebate. We don't know. The only way for us to see this is we must talk to at least 5 dealers. And what you're going to see, I promise you, I've got 14 years in the car business, and I've been helping people online buy cars from home for the last 3 years. You're going to see that 4 out of 5 of those dealers are going to lie to you. 4 out of 5 of those dealers is going to lie to you. It's unfortunate. We don't know why. Listen, don't try to change it. You just want to reveal it to yourself. So when you see cases where a person says, oh, there was no rebate, and then another offer you get from another dealer, they say, hey, we got a $1,000 rebate. And that doesn't necessarily mean a military rebate. There's conquest rebate, there's loyalty rebate, there's dealer cash. This is unadvertised stuff, guys. This is not stuff that you can open Google and see what are all the rebates. They're not public. They're up to the dealer to give you, or for you to get them revealed to you. And the only way, in my opinion, to get them revealed to you is through multiple offers, because the liars are not going to reveal them to you. So once you get at least 5 offers, you're going to see, I'll never shop and get one offer again. And that's what you need to do to protect yourself from overpaying. I say this all the time. When a person says to you, this is my best deal, she's not, or he's not lying. That's his best deal. But his competition's best deal is a different best deal. Did you get that? Did you get that? When you get that, when that clicks, you're going to understand. His competition's best deal is a different best deal. That's your best price. I get it. I can't go any lower. Man, you kill me. Manager's going to fire me. Perfect. Let's see if your competitor will do better. And once you start to get multiple offers, it's going to change your world. And you can do this from home. That's the best part. People, if you're not driving from dealer to dealer, oh, let me go here and get an offer. Let me go here and get an offer. Let me go here. No, you're at home on the phone, or when you download my cheat sheets, you're going to see we do this by email. So I got the link pinned in the chat on Instagram. We got the link on YouTube. Get my free cheat sheets. They're totally free. Start to dig in and unlearn the way the car business has programmed you to shop. You were never taught to shop. Think about that. You were programmed to shop. Nobody ever taught you about, you can learn about buying a house, right? You kind of walk through the process. You're not taught to buy a car. This is what you're supposed to do. No one's there to help you. You get what I'm saying? And that's my job, is to teach you, if you're willing to learn, the best way to car shop. Go ahead, Dolan. I see we got a lot more questions, so I'm going to try to get to them a lot quicker. Okay, this one's from Instagram. I see you, Trent. Shout out to Trent Gaines on Instagram. Should I switch cars during a bankruptcy? You know, what you're going through with the bankruptcy and your attorneys, that's going to be between them, and what they allow you to do, and what's going to be on your credit or attached to the bankruptcy, or, what's going to be discharged and what won't. I can say that I have seen people after a bankruptcy rebuild their credit very quickly. That's what I would tell you, is to focus on, and you can get an incredible deal, 700 credit score within a year of a bankruptcy, walk in, lease or buy a brand new car, or get a decent rate on a pre-owned car, hands down. But you need to be intentional. Soon as the bankruptcy is discharged and your credit report is blank, you should follow Shonda Martin. I'm sure a lot of you guys know Shonda Martin. I recommend her all the time. Road to 750 plus. She has tons of just incredible information about building credit, little things you don't know. She's like, me with cars, but she does credit. And I would If I knew for a fact that in 1 year I could make a home run deal, better credit, because think about it. Y'all know, some of you know my rule. If you're not buying your car and keeping it 8 years, you should be shopping for a below market lease, not a purchase. Again, I started the broadcast telling you why I fell in love with leasing. Young family, I had a young daughter, freshly married. I'm working for General Motors, so I had someone there to help me. I leased a brand new Pontiac G6, 256 a month. My friends that are 20, 21, 22, they have cars that are breaking down, used cars they bought, scraped together all the money they could, and they're paying more for me than me. I'm paying $256 a month at the time. So, from then on, I saw that leasing, once you understand it and how to structure your leases correctly, it's the best thing in the world for driving reliable vehicles, not having to worry about, remember, some of you keep the tow truck guy on speed dial. You know that. Young families, young people, older, anytime you have a life that you're trying to maintain, that's different. So if I knew, all right, I'm not ready to lease, I just came out the bankruptcy, I would be literally following a plan to get myself to a 680, 700 score within a year. And I've seen people do it. Because you're fresh. Start with a credit card. Again, I'm not the credit specialist. I don't talk about things that I don't specialize in, but I've witnessed it several times. And I would be like, I'm going to get me an inexpensive used car, pick up something for a couple thousand, drive it for a year. Yeah, I don't care if people laughing at me, smoke coming out the back, but they don't know my plan is in a year, I'm leasing something brand new. I'm going to be in a 2025. So that's what strategy. So I don't know exactly what all your goals are, but that's a play I've seen people work. But you got to be disciplined. You got to be intentional. You got to be serious. And you can make a power move. Great question. Go ahead, Dolan. All right, we got a lot more questions. Let's go. We're going to bring in as many as we can. What's up, Miss Connors? I see you on YouTube. If a dealer says out the door price is the same as total out of pocket. No, out the door price is, if I'm looking at a $30,000 car, what is all in? Taxes, fees, everything you're going to charge me. That's an out the door price. That's also how we get our quotes on new cars and used cars. I'm going to tell you why. 99 times out of 100, we're preparing to get our own financing. So even if the dealer ends up winning our finance business, the payments have nothing to do with the dealer. When you're shopping payments through the dealer, in my opinion, you're shopping totally incorrectly. And again, that's what they want you to do. Let me control all the numbers, Mr. Customer. Let me tell you, let me build an interest rate that I pick for you based on me marking it up a little bit, and then we can negotiate that later. Let me do all of this stuff. When you are getting a total out the door price, that out the door price is a price where once I get it, I can call my bank or credit union. Once I get it, I can give the dealer a chance to give me a loan. That's out the door price. Total out of pocket, if you're paying cash, is an out the door price, because total out of pocket means I'm bringing you a check, and at delivery, I'm dropping that check, and it's going to match the total out the door price. But in any other case, total out of pocket is how much do I have to bring you at delivery. And in the case of leases, we shop with zero out of pocket. We do first month's payment only, actually, because when you lease, you pay your payment at the beginning of the month. So you pay your payment, you drive off with the vehicle. But that's all we shop with. So when you see people say, oh, you need, you're going to see commercials that say 4,000 down. And some of you pause the commercial and read the fine print, and you're like, wait, that doesn't even include the taxes. That looks like I'm going to need like $7,000 total out of pocket, $7,000. Yeah. In many cases, when you look at a commercial or an advertisement that says $3,000 due at signing, and it doesn't include taxes and fees, that means that taxes and fees are probably another $2,000, $3,000, depending on the car, could be more. And that's what they're expecting you to bring at delivery if you want that advertised price. That's never how we shop. We shop with zero out of pocket. We shop with zero down payment, first month payment total out of pocket. In the case of a finance, when we're getting a loan on a new car, used car, we're not bringing anything total out of pocket. Our down payment would be between our bank and actually, let me preface this. Let's just say total out the door price is $30,000. You want to finance $25,000 because that's where you're going to get your best payment. Again, download my free car buying cheat sheets and you can start to try to, you don't have to try to remember all of this in one live because it's going to be very hard. We're talking very serious financial things. If $25,000 is what you wanted to finance, because you know what, I only want to finance that because that's where the payment I want to be, that's where I want my payment. You would then say, I'm going to put $5,000 down and only finance the $25,000, in which case, when you came to pick up your car, you would give them a check for $5,000 or put it on a credit card, and then the bank would wire the other $25,000, or the bank, whoever's giving you the loan, would give you the other $25,000. But still, it does not change the fact that you shop total out the door price first, and we work that out later. Total out the door price is what matters if you're getting a good deal or not. Total out the door price is not payment. Payment is, I know I have a deal. Now let me go and work out my payment and what I want it to be. That's different. Your payment, you can't buy a deal with a monthly payment. You have to have a deal, below market deal, before you shake the hand. And once you shake the hand and you're like, okay, and you get a below market deal by getting multiple offers like I talked about. And once you seal that, now you go and you say, we work out our payment. You must separate those two if you're going to get a great deal. You can't mix those two. You can't mix, I'm going to shop my monthly payment and the price of the car at the same time. That's a diversion. That's a distraction. And it's worked for years. Go ahead. Great question. Dolan, shoot the next one in. Cheryl on YouTube, I see you. Come on, just so y'all know, type your questions in. Dolan, look like you got them stacked up. Cheryl on YouTube. Hey, Deshone, I'm leasing a Honda Accord, $614 a month with zero down. Sounds like you overpaid, honestly. I'll go into that after I read the rest of your question. I'm almost to 36,000 miles before 3 years. So you took 12,000 miles a year. What do you recommend? Okay, so first of all, we use a formula like this. I don't know if you transfer negative equity to this lease, but here's the thing. We judge leases based on a traditional rule, which is called the 1% rule. It's been around for longer than I've been buying cars and leasing cars. You look at a car and you look at the MSRP, the sticker price. If that price is $40,000, if you get a payment of 1% of that or less, it's a steal. Does not mean it's the best offer. Because, we had Zafrina. Zafrina got, some of you know Zafrina, she, I talk about her, she got a 0.88% lease. So, but value-wise, the whole key with a lease is value. I'm driving brand new cars for cents on the dollar compared to people who buy them. So the lower, the more value. So 1% rule's been around. We never had to worry about if we overpaid if our payment was 1% or less. Now, pandemic, I start seeing people, I start making videos about leasing. Some of you may have seen a couple. I see a lot of people like, hey, you know what? I'm going to start leasing. Problem is, there's so much room between a purchase and a lease price. You could give somebody a bad lease price and it's still better than a purchase. Let me go deeper. Honda Accord, roughly, let's take an EXL, something, $35,000, roughly, right? Now, 1% of that would be $350 a month, okay? And there was a time where you could drive a Honda Accord for $350 a month or lower, 100%. Now, rates have increased a little bit. And again, these change from month to month. manufacturer decides, hey, we need to really sell some cars next month, you see rebates, you see support, you see things that, you know, lead to a better lease quote, better lease rate once you shop your offers. But stay on topic. Now, I started looking and saying, okay, a lot of people are going to lease now. If I bought that $35,000 Honda, every $5,000 on the loan, let's see who knows. First one who answers this gets a free copy of my book, Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. It's 5-star rated. How every $5,000 on the loan is how much per month? Every $5,000 on the loan. All right, Betty Carr got it. She's the first one I saw on TikTok. I saw you come second, Jonathan. You were right after her. Betty, I want you to DM me. Send me your email. I'll have my team send you the copy of the book. It's a digital book, so you can literally be reading it this afternoon. Now, if every $5,000, good, she's focused. I love it. And I see a lot of you who know this rule. I'm glad this stuff is starting to stick with you. So $35,000 would be about $700 a month on a 5-year loan. So if a person goes in and says, all right, I used to purchase, and they say, well, let me get, you know, I could get you to $5, you know, lower than that on a lease. They'll go in and say, oh, well, you know what? I like the lease payment. I don't want to pay $700 a month. Get me the, you know, give me this $599 or $5, you know. Large potential to overpay, large potential to not get good value. So that's when I said, okay, what rule can we come up with where people will know if you pay more than this for the lease, there's no value there. There's the higher rate you pay, you're paying the same amount as someone who bought it and you don't own it. That's very different. If I'm not going to own this car in 3 years or 5 years or 7, then I shouldn't be paying a payment close to what someone pays who is on their way to owning it. I said, okay. We looked at natural depreciation. I came up with the 1.5% rule. So the 1% rule is massive, massive value. We went over that a couple seconds ago. 1% of MSRP, massive value. Now, if that same $35,000 vehicle, we do 0 1.5, that's $525. That's $525. This is where we max out at. There's no value there anymore in leasing this vehicle. And like I said, Cheryl, I don't know if you transferred negative equity over, so I can't see your deal. A lot of people, when they're coming from a finance to a lease, and they've been, you know, you've been taught, oh, buy cars, but you know, you don't keep them 8 years. You don't keep them even some of you long enough to pay them off. People say, all right, Deshone, I'm transferring this from a purchase to a lease. And a lot of times you're going to have negative equity and that you're going to bring some of that negative equity over. So you got to finish out that first lease. And then your next lease is a clean deal and you can really start to see all the value. But that's the case. So if you're almost at your mileage, what I would tell you, Cheryl, is get my cheat sheets now. Do what I call this equity assessment. You want to see, do you have any equity in the vehicle or can you break even? Now, who didn't know you could sell a lease? Type me. Because you heard me just talk about equity in a lease. Some of you may have seen some of the videos where we've helped thousands of people do this. Equity is not a guarantee. I see, Amanda, just a lot of you. So think about this. Not knowing you could sell a lease, how much has that cost you? How much has not knowing you could sell a lease cost you? You drop off that vehicle without doing an equity assessment. Now, what happens if there's $3,000 worth of equity in that? What happens if it has a great resale value? What happens if, you know, you drove a low amount of miles and, you know, 2,000, 3,000 equity in that vehicle? Where's it going? Where's that money going? You don't need me to tell you. So we do an equity assessment to see, can we break even, which means we can get out early. Because if you can't, Cheryl, then that means you are going to you're gonna be penalized for breaking that lease early. So I would tell you, if I think you said you're almost 3 years in, if you're only gonna go over by a little bit, the penalty is very small. It's not worth you getting out early, which some people, here's another tactic. God, it's so many tricks I'm trying to keep y'all from, like pits I'm trying to keep y'all from falling into. A tactic is, let's just say you go over mileage by 2,000 miles, right? 2,000 miles, the penalty is usually 25 cents a mile. That's $500. Now, if you called the dealer today and said, "Hey, I'm close to going over my miles," they're gonna say what? Who knows what they're gonna say when you call them and say, "Hey, I'm close to going over their miles." You can say it in 2 or 3 words. Let's see if we could. We got a bunch of smart people on here. What would the dealer say if you called them and said, "Hey, I'm getting close to going over my miles"? Let's see if people, if we know this playbook. Let's see, give y'all some time to type. There you go. All right, Kels, you called it. Look, and I love the way she put it. Let's bring you in to find another lease. Now check this out. That's real good. So check this out. Let's say you have 3 payments left. Each of your payments are $500, or in your case, Cheryl, $615. $615, they bring you in. They say, "Don't worry about those payments. We'll take care of them." What that means is we're going to take those 3 payments and we're going to work you out a new lease. And then that new lease, once we work it out, we're going to slap those payments on and see, can we still get her to a payment she likes with this money in? And if we can, then we don't have to tell her. We'll just say, "Hey, good news. Look, we get you out of that old car. Some of you heard this before. You've heard this script. We'll get you out of that car. Don't worry. Old car is gone. Brand new car. You drive off with that. We keep your payment about the same." What just happened? Instead of going the distance and dealing with a $500 penalty, you actually just rolled $1,800 into your new deal. And now you're paying for your old lease and your new lease. And had you not did that, so let's say they got you to $615 with those 3 payments. Had you waited, took $1,800 out of that, at a bare minimum, that goes from $615 down to about $550. $1,800 with the taxes and interest. Every 1,000 is probably about $30. Call it about $50-$60. So from $615 down to about $560. Just because you did that. So I like to do clean deals. I like for you to do clean deals. That's why I want you guys out of negative equity. And if it sounds like you would deal, and in your case, it sounds like you're probably going to be better off taking the penalty, being that your payment is a little higher than normal. I would take a smaller penalty, go the distance if your lease is almost up. And again, that's I don't know everything about your case to be able to tell you, but just from what I heard, that's what I'm gathering. All right, go ahead, Dolan. Okay, come on. All right, so Fred from TikTok, I see you. I have a 775 credit score. How can I get a car with no money down? It's not a favor. Let's start there. When you go in to buy a car, money down is not necessary, and it's not a favor. No one hooked you up because you were able to get a car with no money down. If you have the credit and the car falls within the loan to value ratios, which means if you're asking a bank to give you a loan, they're only going to lend about 20%, 25% more than the car's value, which means if the car is $30,000, they estimate taxes, fees should cover that other 25. So we'll give you the price of the car, 25, then we'll give you up to another 25% of that 25 that you can throw in there, tax, fees, and you can leave with no money down. You're within the loan to value ratios the bank allows. With a lease, we shop for a lease. We get all our lease offers with first month's payment total out of pocket. That's it. That's not a down payment. We're paying our first lease payment and we're driving off. That's no money down. When you see, the reason why you think money down is necessary is because you're shopping with people who are talking to you as a payment buyer. So when they're talking to you as a payment buyer, what you're going to get is, well, to get to your payment, you need this much down. You're negotiating the wrong thing. You're not negotiating the price of the car. In the case of a lease, you're not getting your when you say, hey, I want to get to $500 a month. If a dealer says, hey, to get to $500 a month, you need this much down. You just told them how you wanted them to give you a quote. Give me your best quote, getting me to $500 a month. They're going to say, well, to get there, you need $3,000 down. It's what you asked. It's the way you asked. When we get quotes, we are requesting our quotes with only first month's payment out of pocket, 12,000 miles per year. And all of you who have gotten, you should be starting with my cheat sheets. If some of you are like, Deshone, I like this. I'm liking what I'm hearing. I'm liking this new way you're talking about the car shop. And for me, it's not a new way, it's just my way. And it's a lot of people's ways who've listened to me. We have, tons of people that we could show, that literally, I'm showing them now on the screen. Tons of people that have used these, and all of them get below market deals. None of them are spending more than 20 minutes and 30 minutes in a car dealership because it works. So the first step is start with my free cheat sheets. Start with my free cheat sheet so you can, if you're on TikTok, go to my TikTok bio, click the link, download my free cheat sheets, start there. Then you can move on to things like my book. Because the money you're spending, the money you're losing, think about this, y'all. And this is how I see it when I'm talking to you. And this is no offense. I just see money falling out of your bank account and going into other people's bank accounts because it's stuff you don't know. So I want you to be able to know these things, and you'll see how we ain't even going to talk about how much money you was losing in the past anymore. We're not here to, you'll know that though. You won't need me to say that. You'll be like, man, I definitely know for a fact I was losing thousands on each car because I didn't know this stuff. So, but when you let salespeople make you think money down, them giving you a no money down deal is a favor. Now, how many favors more are you going to ask for? You feel like, oh, if you could just give me the no money down, I feel like, hey, man, that's why you'll go and tell people, man, I got me a good deal. I have to put no money down. That's not a good deal. You could have overpaid by, think about it. If a bank says on a $50,000 car, we'll loan 60. Let's just say the dealership charges you 55 when you could have got it for 50 somewhere else from another competitor. You pay 55, they throw in your tax and fees and say, good news, you don't have to put any money down. Now you just left out of there with a $50,000 car that you paid 55 for, but you got it for no money down. It's not a deal at all. So the key in getting no money down deals is to realize it's not a favor. The only time you're not going to get no money down deals, and you can't, is when you're bringing over too much negative equity and the car you're getting doesn't have a big enough discount to absorb that negative equity without having the loan to value ratios be too high for the bank. If the bank looks and says that car is only worth 30, we're only going to lend 35. This person wants to finance their tax, fees, and $7,000 of negative equity. We're not giving them all of that. They need to bring $3,000 to the table, and we'll give them the rest. Negative equity again. Again, I call it the devil to your car deals. It's the bad credit for people with good credit. Negative equity is the devil to your car deals. And there's a reason why some of you always have it. Every single deal. Every time you make a deal, you're like, man, I always got this negative equity. Why is it? Because you should be leasing and you continue to purchase And that's the cause. I can tell you all day what the cause is. I've seen it 9,000 times. Like literally, that's the cause. You should be shopping for below market leases, yet you buy cars for, because that's what you were taught to do. You're negative equity all the time. Okay? And it ruins deals. It's one of the that and bad credit are the only two things. You can have an 800 credit score. I've had people with 800 credit scores when I was with Mercedes come in. You can't get a car. You can't cover the negative equity. You can't roll all that negative equity in a new car. Got all the credit. Bank won't approve it. Go ahead, Dolan. All right. The link to my TikTok, the link to my free cheat sheets, everybody, is in the YouTube comments, in the Facebook comments, in my TikTok bio. Go get your free cheat sheets. And again, I don't know how long I'll do the free cheat sheets. We've done them for a long time, but I'm working on something brand new. And if the cheat sheets continue to be the what opens the door to your understanding, then we'll keep doing it. That's what I get. I'm hell bent on results. So I can't tell you 6 months from now will the cheat sheets be available. I don't know. Get them today while they're free. All right. Go to my TikTok bio, get your cheat sheets. You can start to unlearn this stuff that the car business has programmed you to do. And we have the comment pinned on TikTok, on Instagram as well here in my bio and in the comment section. Jonathan Rivera on YouTube. Can you explain a 2-year lease versus a 3-year lease? Okay, great question. And what he didn't mention, which some of you may know, there's a 4-year lease option. We never take it. We don't even take 3.5-year leases most of the time. Why? We're paying too much money for a car we're giving back. We're paying too long on a car we're giving back. So when you stretch out that payment to a 4-year lease and then it lowers, you add up all of those payments, you'll see you're paying way too much. Now, 2-year lease option. Thing about 2 years is you can't shop for them in a lot of cases. And I'm going to tell you why. The manufacturers have determined that 3 years is when they want the vehicle back. If they look and say, we want these vehicles back in 3 years so we can resell them, as certified cars, or, have the opportunity to, sell them as pre-owned cars, then all the support for the lease program is going to go into the 3-year program. The best residual value, which is what they estimate the vehicle to be worth when you're done with it, it's going to be best in 3 years. The interest rate might not necessarily change. Sometimes it will, though. So, if the money factor is better for the 3-year program, because we want to support the 3-year program. If we want 3 years, we're going to make sure 2 years doesn't make sense. Because a lot of people, if they could get a great below market lease and they can pay a great payment for 2 years, they would take the 2. And then they have all of these vehicles coming back before the time they want them back. So most of the time you're going to see a 3-year lease program. And anytime it'll be so different. The payment for 3 years will be $450, and then the payment for 2 years will be $700, $650, something ridiculous, where they say, all right, we know most people are not going to take this. Now, there are cases where manufacturers want a vehicle back in 2 years. They don't want to forecast that long. They want the vehicles back a little sooner. We saw a couple 2-year programs during the pandemic, because the manufacturers really were it was so difficult to see what the market was going to be in the long term. So they said, all right, let's put a 2-year program on it. But usually, especially when you're getting multiple offers, the way I teach, you're going to, let's say I'm shopping for a Nissan. If I'm getting quotes from dealers and I say, hey, can you work me out a 3-year lease, which is our customary, we get a 3-year lease quote, 12,000 miles per year, only first month payment out of pocket. They'll tell me, hey, we got a great 2-year program. Would you consider that? Because dealers know what they have. Dealers know in the rare cases they get a 2-year program, they're going to try to tell the customer, hey, I'll give you a quote for 3 years, but the 2-year program is actually good. And sometimes you'll see a 2-year program advertised. That's when you know that vehicle has a good 2-year program at the time. But again, they're very rare. You don't see them much, and for the reasons that I just said. Yeah, great question. Yeah, Dolan, keep them coming. All right, come on. We got a lot more questions. I'm gonna see what we could do. Who got their cheat sheets? Type me if you got your cheat sheets. Who got their cheat sheets? Let me talk to the action. Let me shout out the action takers. Then we'll get to another question. Who got their cheat sheets? Who downloaded them? Let's go. Okay. I see you, Murph. I see you, Murph. I see you, Melinda. All right. I see you, Deborah. Okay. I see you, Sam. I see you, KB. Okay. Shout out to the action takers. Listen, y'all. Here's what I know. If you're gonna try to, if you, for some reason, car buying isn't that serious to a lot of people. And that's why I sit here and I tell you everything you're doing wrong. Because that sparks interest in the people who take their money seriously. The people who, if you're not going to take your money seriously, who is? You know who is? Car salesmen. They take your money seriously. They take your money seriously. So it's all about you taking the action to make sure that you're paying less than everyone else. And if you're paying $400 a month when everyone else is paying $600 a month for the same car, they don't get to say that's not fair. You took the action. You learned. You got the skills. You did things different. You get below market deals are reserved for the people who want below market deals, realizing below market deals are not for everybody. If everyone was getting below market deals, they wouldn't be called below market deals. They'd be average. Below market deals are reserved for the people who are serious about their money. Okay, Pastor George, you can get yours in my TikTok bio. Just go there. It's totally free. Click the link and you'll see, download my free car buying cheat sheets. All right, the style guy on Instagram, shout out to you. When should I mention down payment when purchasing a vehicle? Never. It's irrelevant. If we're shopping for a new car or used car, we're shopping total out the door price. We're working out our financing and our payments with the people giving us our loan. We talked about that a little while ago. We're not giving the dealer the loan automatically. And we're not allowing the dealer to mix the loan with the price of the car. That's 2 transactions. Some of you don't realize there's 3 different transactions that you've been giving to a dealer. Who you buy your car from is 1 transaction. Who you get your loan from is 2 transactions. And who you sell your old car to is a 3rd transaction. You view that as 1. So why do we think there's people in the car buying business? Why do you think there's people who want to buy cars? There's a lot of money in buying cars. There's people who, and I link you to some of them in my cheat sheets. The first thing we talk about is the equity assessment. I think the second thing, the first thing we talk about is leasing undisputed. When we talk about the equity assessment, there's companies, I'll give you 6 companies that buy cars at the drop of a hat every day. They fight and compete to pay more money to buy cars. So that's 1 transaction. Loans. Why do you think there's people in the loan business that aren't in the car business? They loan. They're not interested in selling you a car. They don't even have a car to sell you. They're in the loan business because there's money in the loan business. And then there are people who sell cars. That's 3 separate transactions. So when you've been giving the people who've been losing the most money, and I'm sorry to tell you this, but hey, rip the Band-Aid off and then we can start to I'm the bad news first person. I don't leave you there though. I don't give you bad news and then leave you there. I give you bad news and then I give you an option to start to change it. But the people who have been giving dealers 3 transactions in one, I buy my car from them, I trade my car into them. That's 2 transactions. I buy my car from them, I give them my loan, and I traded my car into them. You just gave them 3 transactions. No way you got a great deal. How could you? You mean to tell me you magically negotiated the best price on the loan, the best price for your old car that you could have got on the market, and the best price for the car you're buying from them? You just negotiated all three of those so effectively that you could mix it all into one person. And you got this person to sell their car to you for lower than everyone else in the market. And at the same time, you got them to pay the most money for your car that anyone else would pay in the market. It's impossible. So what I tell you, the style guy, is to take action, get my cheat sheets, and learn to separate. And if we never hear from each other again, if I never see you again, if you never see me again, separate your transactions. Who you sell your car to is different than who you're going to buy your car from in most cases. And then who you're buying your car from is different than who you're getting your loan from. And the people who are working out your monthly payment or you're budgeting with should be who you're getting your loan from, not who you're buying the car from. When you're buying a car, you shop out the door price. Go ahead, Dolan. Great questions. Let's go. Great questions. All right. He-Man Mark on TikTok. Tips to get the lowest interest rate. Multiple offers. There's nothing. If there's a bank in West, 30 miles from here that no one knows about, and you don't give them an opportunity to compete for your interest rate, and they can give you a lower interest rate than anyone, that's your loss. See, there's something called rate shopping. The rate window, you can Google this, is actually something the credit bureaus allow you to do. They give you a 14 to 45 day period to actually shop rates, have multiple people access your credit with a hard pull, and it weighs on your credit the same as one hard pull. So I can have one bank give me an offer for an interest rate, and I can have 30 banks give me an offer for an interest rate. It's going to affect my credit the same way. Who didn't know that? Who's never heard of that? If you've never heard of the rate window, type me. You've never heard of the rate shopping window, type me. TT wins. I see you. Thank you. All right, I see you. Dent, Joan, I see you. KB, I see you. Derek, I see you. How much is this costing you? How much is this costing you? See, one tip that you learn and apply from me, again, I'm gonna be just that one tip right there, when applied, will save you thousands of, depending on how bad of a negotiator you are. Even a great negotiator, you're still leaving 1,000 plus on the table concerning your interest rate, not shopping multiple banks and lenders. So you're talking that one mistake there is 4 figures. Nothing that I'm talking to you about is hundreds of bucks. I'm not gathering you here to talk to you about hundreds of bucks. These are thousands of dollars of your after-tax money that you're losing, not realizing these things. This is how you should be moving. It's just one area. This is the interest rate. Shopping multiple lenders within I call this the bank bidding war. It's actually in my book. Some of you may have my book, Cars from Home. And it's a digital book. That's called the bank bidding war. You're not going to go into a bank and negotiate with them and say, all right, get me down here. They're giving you their best rate. Like I said, when a dealer says to you, that's my best price. Fine. Thank you so much. You sure this is your best price? Yes, it is. Okay, great. Listen, I'll give you a call back if I'm interested. And, thank you so much. Then I'm calling someone else and getting their best price. Every dealer's best price is a different price. It's the same way with banks. Every bank's best loan interest rate is a different one. So Bank of America's best interest rate is one thing. Chase's best interest rate is different. Navy Federal's best interest rate is different. Community Credit Union best rate is different. All of these people you need to have competing for your business. That's how you get the lowest interest rate. Go ahead. No, you don't shop banks for leases, Quintel. Nope, you can only, that's another reason. Pull the next question up, though. I was just I just happened to catch somebody on TikTok that I wanted to just address real quick. Happy Chick from TikTok. What is going on? Happy Chick from TikTok. I want to buy a Lexus NX. Will it be a few weeks to get the car due to inventory? So you're dealing with one dealer, you're dealing with one inventory. So if you're talking to a dealer and you go there and they're like, hey, you want a silver one with the black interior? I won't have one of those for, a couple weeks. I only got gold, I got black, I got 3 whites. Okay, great. You're going to sit there and wait for that dealer the way they've trained you to shop. Sit and wait. We'll call you. But when you're shopping out of 25 dealers' inventories, and I teach you how to do this, again, start with my cheat sheets, go to Deshone'sCheatSheets.com, and then you can graduate to my book. Once you graduate to actually learning how to contact 25 dealers in 20 minutes, you will see I'm shopping out of 25 dealers' inventories now. So when I contact them online, somebody will either have that vehicle, usually it's going to be 8 to 10 minimum out of those dealers will have a vehicle that matches what we want. But more importantly, now we can believe the information when they say the vehicle's limited inventory. Because if it truly is, let's say it's sold out. Let's say we're at the end of the model year, and they're about to transition to the new one. Vehicle sold out. Now, when 25 dealers, when 20 or 23 out of the 25 tell you, no, we don't have one. Hey, you can order one. Then you can know. Now you can believe it. I always say we don't believe what one dealer says because 4 out of 5 are going to lie to you. But once you are talking to multiple dealers, now you don't have to worry about being lied to because you have so many dealers and you have so many dealers that are going to give you information. You'll be able to know what the truth is. You're not just you won't have a dealer saying to you, we don't have that vehicle. You need to order it because there's really none out there. They're saying that because they don't have it and they don't want you to go and get it from their competitor, because when we look in the computers, we can see who has the vehicle. So we can see, oh, okay, listen, y'all ever sitting there? And I know because I've had plenty of customers on the other side of the computer. You ever sit there and you see and the person's looking and saying, okay, I don't have it, but I could get you one. I could get you. We're usually looking at our competitors' inventory. So how do we know if it's a case where you really don't have it and you don't want me to buy it from my competitor, or it's really no inventory, multiple voices, multiple conversations? And the way I do it, we do it by email. And it's again, it's a totally different world. Totally different world. Everything, the world you're in is smoke and mirrors. It's a magic show. It's illusions. Car dealer's job isn't to make you win. I'm going to say this, and I want you to remember this. This is very important, what I'm about to say to you. A car dealer's job is not to make sure you win. A car dealer's job is to make you think you won. Big difference. Big difference. Night and day difference. One is a commitment to actually delivering, which no dealer can do because they can't help you shop their competitors. That's the only way for you to actually win, is to shop competitors and know that you got the best deal in the market. But anything else is, I got to put on enough of a show and ask the questions and find out what's going to make this person happy so that when we make this deal, they think they won. Go ahead, Dolan, shoot the next one up. And Happy Chick, if you want to do it manually, just call around. Call around. You want to call around and ask? Again, you can do it the manual way. It's better than the way most people are doing it. Even if you are shopping competitors manually and hard, having conversations with people from home, it's not what I would do. Not what I would teach, because I prefer you to be able to do it without talking. But even if you did that, it's 20 times better than the way you will shop with one dealer or two. Mima from TikTok. TikTok coming with all the questions today. What's going on, Mima from TikTok? What do you think about buying a car from Carvana? They're one marketplace. Carvana and almost every dealer is trying to sell you on variety, not competition. Variety does not drive down prices. Competition drives down prices. Give you an example. Let's just say you walk into the Lay's potato chip factory. You love Lay's, and it's just like a field trip for you. I'm in the Lay's, but you see flavors that haven't even been released yet. They're all over. It's just 50 flavors, tons of variety. You can then say, listen, this is a special thing. You can pick any of these flavors you want. Take them home. You know, you can taste them. No, they're not in stores. Tons of variety, right? You with me? Everybody clear? Each bag is $9.99. What are you going to say? What can you say? What can you say? Variety does not drive down prices. So every time you hear someone like Carvana say, we have 50,000 vehicles for you to choose from, variety. Whenever you go on a marketplace, car gurus, variety. That's false competition. Competition is only independently comparing one Honda to another Honda in another place on another website. I need to see all my options and compare them. That's what drives down prices. Getting multiple offers from unrelated dealers, that's what drives down prices. A person could tell you we have 10 million used cars outside. Again, they're not competing against themselves. So their price is going to be set based on variety. What drives down prices is competition. So every time, so we give Carvana a chance to get our business. We give CarMax a chance to get our business if we're shopping for a used car. We give Driveway a chance. We give Car Gurus a chance. We're on Carfax.com, CarMax, Cars.com, eBay Motors. We use 8 marketplaces at the time. And we look and we shop like we're shopping for TV on Amazon and Best Buy and Walmart.com. Beautiful thing. I've seen cases where I look at a car when I was shopping for my Infinity truck. There was an Infinity truck on Carfax.com, and the same exact Infinity truck on Cars.com was $2,000 more. Now, what happened was that vehicle had a price lower. The managers came in and said, okay, lower the price $2,000, but it didn't hit that website. That website has a delay. It has a delay. So it may take 24 hours for that new price to hit that website. So if I hadn't seen, and that's not the one I ended up buying, it's just the principle that you'll get to understand. People saw the old price, went into the dealer, hey, I got this on 36, I sold on cars.com. But on Carfax.com, it's $2,000 lower. Multiple marketplaces, competition, that drives down prices. Great question. Go ahead, Dolan. Shoot the next one in. All right. I see you, Dan. And shout out to the sharers. Everybody who hits that paper plane on Instagram, I appreciate you. Everybody who hits that, I think it's a paper plane on TikTok, I appreciate you. Shout out to the people sharing, tagging your friends. It'd be a shame for your friends to find out you're learning all this stuff about saving money and they're out in dealerships right now getting abused. Parker West on YouTube, what is going on? What if the dealer ruins your engine? Should you accept a comparable engine or request a new car or lease vehicle? That's just the dealer ruining your engine. So I'm just going to assume you had the vehicle in for service. Something happened with the engine. Now it's ruined. They're going to try to talk you into a new engine. I would be, first of all, contacting corporate. There's 3 tiers of the what I call the corporate car hierarchy. One is corporate, one is the bank that makes the vehicle, and one is the bank under the corporation, and one is the franchise dealership. So these are separate entities. Honda USA is the corporate entity. Honda Financial Services is the bank entity. Franchise Honda dealers, individually owned and operated, is a separate entity. So when we have an issue that is a major issue, you want to call corporate immediately, and you want to open up a case, and you want to escalate it to the highest person and say, listen, I have a major issue. Who can I talk to on the ladder to open up a case that we can start. And what that does is that now that starts to document. They usually connect you with a person, and they'll document these, and then they'll say, well, where's the car at? Oh, it's at this service center. It's at Honda Service here in Tampa Bay. Now they're communicating with them and saying, okay, well, what happened? Who's liable? They're trying to see, are we liable? And so I would get corporate involved immediately. Anything that's going to cost big money, anything where you're like, oh, the dealer did this and they ruined it, I'm getting corporate involved day one. I do that today. Go ahead, Dolan. I got abused trying to get out, Queen Bee. You go. Oh, man. Go ahead, Dolan. Gina from TikTok. Do you have to have a down payment? Does down payment keep you from getting a loan? We have a lot of questions about down payments, and should I keep answering the question, y'all? Because here's what I don't like to do. Next, if you're like, hey, Deshone, you talked about that, I heard that, you went into detail about that, just type next. And I would tell Gina, go and watch the replay on my Facebook page or on the YouTube page, you'll see the replay. Or if you're like, talk about it, then just, type something else. Yes, I guess. Type yes. So let's get a consensus, because we'll get people who jump on, then they got to go back to work, or they, and we get new people like, yeah, I didn't hear that. I'd love for you to talk about it. But I don't want a bunch of people who heard me discuss down payments in detail a little while ago to have to hear the same exact conversation. What's up, Jody White? From TikTok, I went through the credit union for my car loan, and I was able to get an interest rate of 4.29. We just don't know if that was the best in the market. Sounds good. I'm not in that business of trying to feel for the bottom. That's no different than you taking the Uber? All right, love you, baby. All right, yeah, that's no different than, all right, the dealer took off 4,000. Is that the bottom? That feeling for the bottom is a losing strategy, because the bottom could be very, very deep. Now, in your case, 4.29, all right, we could assume that's close, but that's just bad. I want guarantees. And the only way for me to guarantee that that was the best interest rate is I looked at 15, 20 other banks and credit unions' interest rates. And the best one was 4.29. I'm into guarantees, because if you shop like that, if you shop with no guarantees for your interest rate, you'll shop with no guarantees for the price of your car. You'll sell your old cars or trade them in, God forbid, with no guarantees that that's the most money you could have got. You're giving me 14 for my car. Who's to say another buyer wouldn't have gave you a check for 16? That's $2,000 after tax money. You just lost. Why? Because you didn't know. So I multiple offers is my two favorite words. Multiple offers, multiple options. And it's how we buy everything else. If you really look at how we buy everything else, you go into the grocery store, you don't just go and pick up the, Prego, unless you just love Prego. Sometimes there's brand loyalty there, but you go and you're like, okay, I see Prego on sale, I see Reno, I see this. Okay, and you're measuring value, right? Right or right? You go, all right, I need to get a TV. Is anyone worried about in 2024 overpaying for a TV? Used to be back in the 90s. You could get ripped off buying a TV, right? Is anyone in 2024 worried I'm going to overpay for a TV? Even if I had to send you right now to get a 100-inch TV screen, 100-inch. Anybody worried about that? No. Exactly. Why? Because if I had to get a TV, I'm going to be looking at so many options so fast, I can make an $800 decision in a half hour. Exactly, Lucas. He said no, because it's competitive. So you can literally make an $800 decision in 30 minutes, an hour on a TV. Why? Because you're going to see enough options to know I got the right one. I didn't overpay. So multiple offers, multiple options, a competitive. That's how we shop for everything except cars. That's how I shop for cars. That's how the people who listen to me, who should, that's how people like Charles got his Palisade. Look, that's how Charles $48,000 Palisade, paying $597 a month, almost $50,000 vehicle. That's how he got it. Zafrina, $65,000. Let's call it $66,000 Jeep Grand Cherokee. She got the electric version, the 4xX. She's paying $579 a month. Multiple offers. Multiple offers. Kimberly, feeling for the bottom. She saved over $20,000 on her Maserati, $20,700 according to this offer right here. You guys can't see it, but on YouTube and Facebook, they can see it. So multiple offers is not just the way to guarantee you pay the lease. It's the easiest way. It'd be different if I'm trying to pull you into this new way to car shop where it's going to be painful. What you're doing is painful. No guarantees, dealing with one person, gotta go back and forth, feeling for the bottom. You'll never find it. I'm trying to get you to get out of there. Stay where I'm at. This is where I bought my last 2 cars, right here, right from this chair, right in front of this computer. What's more comfortable? Do you want to be in a dealership fighting, begging, or do you want to be at home having dealers compete with each other? Start with my cheat sheets. In my TikTok bio, go to my TikTok bio, download the cheat sheets, and then once you get through the cheat sheets are quick. And there's so many strategies and there's so many go-tos that you're going to be like, okay, man, this is the direction I want to go in. I'm coming out of that old way. That's why I represent the Unlearn, Relearn brand, because I saw that as I was trying to teach, the people who win are the people who unlearn. There are some people you're just not going to unlearn. You're not willing to unlearn. It's so difficult to help you because you're fighting against yourself. You know everything makes sense, but you got to be willing to say, why am I attached to this old painful process? I want to start getting things done directly online, using the internet for my benefit and making these dealers compete, making these banks compete. Not going in one dealer to beg them to take money off when I'm about to give them $50,000 of my money. How does that look? $50,000 you giving a dealership and you got to beg them, please help me out. Come on, can you get me here? You do another $1,000. This is ridiculous. You go in the mall with $50,000. Would you be looking to beg? So, all right, go ahead, Dolan. I think I hammered that point home. Go ahead, Dolan. Shoot the next one up. Cynthia from Instagram. Hey, Deshone, I have a lease which is up in June 2025. I would like to finance the vehicle because I like it. It has 11,000 miles. Great. I'm presently paying $475 a month. Any pointers? Well, I normally would not recommend buying a lease out unless you really were going to keep it at least another 8 years. Because when I compare what I could buy that new car, when I compare a below market lease and the money I'm going to get and spend on a below market brand new car, now you're going from driving a brand new lease to a used car. So the first transaction you did with this vehicle was a lease, brand new car. The second transaction you're about to do or you're considering doing is a used car purchase. It just so happens it's your car, but it does not change the fact it's a used car purchase. So when comparing a used car purchase to another brand new lease, what you're going to find is they're going to be roughly about the same out of pocket per month. A 3-year-old pre-owned vehicle is going to cost you on a 5 or 6 year loan even about the same, usually a 6-year loan, about the same as what a below market lease would be. So if we're paying the same amount, one's a 3-year-old vehicle, it's pre-owned, it no longer has a warranty, and one's a brand new vehicle, fully under warranty, we're paying the same amount. We have to take that into consideration. Now, when does the person who's buying that pre-owned car start to win? because you can see if two people drove off. I think we all agree, if two people drove off in the same with the same car payment, but one person is driving a brand new 2025 and another person driving a 3-year-old one with no warranty, and they're paying the same payment, can't we all agree that the person who's leasing is winning in that scenario? But in the long run, if the person pays off the used car and keeps the used car at least 8 years, then they will actually catch up in value. It's not going to be apples to apples, because the peace of mind that a lease person has is just, you can't compare it to a person who's driving a used car, especially as it gets older, 7, 8 years old now. Things can happen, and you're going to have to account for that. Again, when does that make sense to do? Long-term ownership. That's why I created the 8-year rule. You'll read about that in my cheat sheets. The 8-year rule is a rule that I never break. And if when you break it, you end up overpaying or paying for something less than what you could have driven. So if you're paying $500 a month for a used car, but the same $500 a month could have gotten you a brand new vehicle, that is not a case of overpayment. That's a case of you got undervalued. You made an undervalued deal. So if you love the vehicle, it has a low amount of miles on it. If you're like, hey, you know what? I could see myself having this just in my driveway another 8 years. Then I would buy it. And you might say, well, Deshaun, I had it already for 3 years. That means another 5? No. Again, this is a fresh transaction. If you were buying a used car, we wouldn't be talking about what you are. If you were buying a used car that wasn't your current lease, you wouldn't be talking about, hey, I already had it for 3 years. You would just be considering that transaction standalone. That's how we have to view it, because you're starting another transaction, a new loan. And if you are going to keep it long term, the only thing you need to concern yourself with is making sure you shop enough banks and credit unions. And you can do this all in a 1-day period. I will be at home online, shopping my bank, shopping online banks, and then give the dealers a chance to beat it. Let all of these people access your credit in 1 day, 24, 48 hours, to make sure you get the best interest rate if you're going to buy that vehicle. That's all you need to that's all that needs to be considered. All right. Texas Brat said, thanks for the info. You're just confirming what I already knew to be true. Happy to hear that. Rachel, TikTok. Rachel from TikTok says, can you buy, I'm sorry, I can't read right now. I'm getting tired. All right. Rachel from TikTok said, can you trade in a lease? Yes. Can you trade in a lease without paying penalties or without losing money? And that depends. That's why we assess equity. In my free cheat sheets, which is in the TikTok comments, in the YouTube comments, in the Facebook comment, we have a link pinned for my free cheat sheet. In my TikTok bio, we have a link for the free cheat sheets, and we have the free cheat sheets in my Instagram bio. We're on 4 platforms now. So I want to make sure everybody knows where they can get them. We do an equity assessment to determine if we can get out without penalty or without paying. If you can't get out of your lease without penalties, then you should chill out. It's only 3 years in most cases, unless you got a 4-year loan or 4-year lease or 3.5-year lease. But to pay penalties makes no financial sense, in my opinion. There's very little you can do to justify, oh, I want to break this lease contract, so I'm going to take my 6 payments that I have left, and I'm going to go into the dealer and just see, hey, can you swap me into something else? Those 6 payments go into your new deal. I don't care what anyone tells you, unless they say we have a payment waiver program, which is only for loyalty, and it's not even, most people don't even do it. And they certainly don't do it ongoing. It'll be like 1 month, 2 months. Hey, we have a payment waiver loyalty. It's like unless they say the payments are waived, those payments are going into your new car. So your impatience now, which this happens all around the country, and people don't know that they're actually rolling this money over, because all they hear the dealer say, oh, we took care of that, old car's taken care of. That's why we do the equity assessment. We find out, and I walk you through the equity assessment in my cheat sheets to find out, hey, I could sell this vehicle for $2,000. For $20,000, and my payoff is $20,000. All right, I'm at a break even. It looks like I can get out of this on a break even. If that's the case, then I can shop for my next car, because once I find the best deal for my next car, I just go and I'm going to sell that car and I'm going to get out of it. But if I run my payoff and my payoff is 25 and then my best offer is 20, out of all the offers we get, I'm not going anywhere. I'm not taking a $5,000 hit to get a new car. And again, you walk into a dealer with the same exact scenario and you think, oh, they just magic, but they put me in a new car. They put you in a new car. You're overpaying because you put $5,000 of money that wouldn't have been there if you had been patient into that deal. So whatever it is, what's your payment? Oh, I'm paying, they got me to $575, 3.5 years. I had to take 42 months. Yeah, they had to give you a longer lease because they had to stretch it out, because when they had you at 3 years, payment was too high because all of that stuff you bought over. And then when you look at that, when you look at what the payment would have been if you would have just waited, you wouldn't be paying $575. You'd be paying $420, $450. You'd be $100 a month less. That $5,000, you shouldn't be at $575. You should be at $430. But you wanted to get out early. So I'm never a fan of getting out of a lease unless I could break even or sell it for equity. And in those cases, yeah, we can get out. That's it. All right, go ahead, Dolan. Shoot the next one up. All right, Troy Bowman on Facebook. How do I set up the rate shopping window? You don't set up the rate shopping window. You have a certain period of time, 14 to 45 days, as the credit bureaus have put in writing. You can Google it. You have that period of time to let multiple banks and lenders access your credit. That and that's going to weigh on your credit score as one hard inquiry. So if one hard inquiry would have lowered your score 10 points, 20 hard inquiries will lower your score the same 10 points as long as you're shopping within the rate window. But here's what's key. You're not going to go into a dealership and say, hey, here's my credit. All right, here, this is our best rate we could get you, 7.9. All right, hold on, guys. Go into another dealership. Here, run my credit. Oh, here's the best rate we could get you, 6.9. That's not the rate window. That's not rate shopping. That's you going in and letting dealers run your credit and shotgun you out to multiple banks. Rate shopping is bank sees, credit bureau sees that this person was clearly shopping for a car in this period of time. They allowed multiple lenders to access their credit. They knew what they were doing. They are not out here going from dealer to dealer begging. It's an organized effort. Get my car, secure it, leave a deposit, come home, shop multiple lenders, banks, credit unions, give them what they need to get an offer, then call the dealer, see if they can beat it. That's the rate window. It must be executed effectively for it to actually be in the guidelines that the credit bureaus have laid out for us. And we call that the bank bidding war. I created an actual process. That's, again, when you graduate to my book, you can start with my cheat sheets. It's in the comment section. You can start with the cheat sheets in my bio, and then you can graduate to my book. Cheat sheets are quick. You can read them tonight. You'll see a bunch of tips that you can use immediately to start to save money and start to shop from home. Then you get to the point where you're right. You know what? I really want to embrace shopping from home altogether. Forget the old way. That's when you can graduate to my book, Cars from Home, 7 Steps to Saving Time, Money, and Avoiding Dealerships. It's a digital book, and that's when we go into detail about the bank bidding war and how to execute it effectively. But that's how to do it. It's a simple process. It's a simple process, and it's effective. Again, I'm a guaranteed person. Everyone who's learning from me, who's using what I'm teaching, if you look at right now, you look at Teddy. Teddy got a BMW. He's worked for luxury cars too. $73,000 BMW. He's got 937. Wait, why did my live video on Instagram just end? Oh, well, he got 829. 856 was his best offer. $73,000 BMW. That's a 1.16 lease rate. Contacted 25 dealers in 4 nearby states. He's on the Indiana border just outside of Chicago. He received 10 offers. I only use the scripts provided, which are in my book. I have scripts for shopping, email scripts, not scripts you have to remember. Again, some of you who've been on a live for a bit, you know I don't like talking. We do everything by email. But it's $856 a month. His highest offer was $1,123 a month. His local dealer was $937 a month. The dealer closest to him, the dealer that's like, hey, come on, Teddy, you know, hey, you're right down the street. $100 more a month was that dealer's best offer. So, you know, Jared, 2024 Tiguan, $520 a month. Zero money, zero out of pocket. Just gave him the first month payment, drove off. Used cars too. Let me find a pre-owned car. Look, Lincoln, Vincent. This is, see, pre-owned, multiple options. When we look at all those marketplaces I talked about earlier, and we're shopping like we're shopping for a TV on Amazon or Best Buy or Walmart.com, same thing. His goal was to get a 30 to 35% discount off MSRP. Now, I didn't talk about it on this live, but what I teach is you need to, when you're shopping for the best price on a used car, you must know what the original price is on that car. Because if you don't, you're negotiating off a false number. What you're negotiating an algorithm. What do I mean? The algorithm tells you the market prices. It looks at all the market prices and said, okay, based on the market prices, this vehicle is a good deal. This vehicle is a great deal. This vehicle is a a bad deal. Algorithms mean nothing. Here's why. You don't know that the one you're saying is a bad deal actually has an M-Sport package in it with the cold weather package and the everything in it. It has $12,000 worth of more equipment in it. So yes, it's $1,000 lower than the averages, but that vehicle has $12,000 more original equipment in it, which means the discount from the original price to what they're listing it for is larger than the one that is a little higher on the asking price, but doesn't have all that equipment in it. That's why when he came in, he's like, I'm setting out to get a 30 to 35% discount off original MSRP, because we look for that. We get the window sticker. We see what was the original price of that used car. And that prevents us from doing what a lot of people did during the pandemic, which is go in and buy used vehicles and pay the same exact price as the vehicle when it was new. They paid $29,000 for a vehicle that was 2 years old or 3 years old, that when it was brand new was $29,000. Now those vehicles today that they paid $29,000 for are worth $14,000, because they went and bought vehicles that should have been priced around 21. They paid 29, and now it's worth 14 because the market has corrected. But they paid 29 plus taxes and fees. The banks were in on it, gave you the loans. We'll finance all of that. Gave you the loan. So now the banks wrote off those losses, and you're in a car that's worth half of what you owe on it. Had you been able to come in and know what I call the true value discount, which is what I created, we can see we prevent these issues from ever happening. We must know what the new car price was before we pay for any used car. So he got a 43% discount. His goal was 30 to 35%. He came in, looked at multiple options, ended up getting one for 43% off at a dealership that delivered the car from one state away. Doesn't matter. Luxury cars, leases, pre-owned cars, multiple offers, multiple options is how we pay less than everyone and guarantee it. There's not many guarantees in life besides taxes and death. But I tell you that when we get cars the way we get them, the way those people that I've mentioned throughout the stream get them, we all guarantee. We'll put money on it. We'll put money on it. We paid less. There's no possibility of us paying thousands less ever. Do you have that same confidence? When you pick up your car, if I was to say, hey, what's going on, Summer, Valencia? Good to see you. Oh, you got a new car? Hey, let me ask you a question. Would you bet me $1,000 that I couldn't find that car, that you have the exact same car, the same type of deal structure for less money than you paid? Would you take that bet? Would you take that bet? Latrice from TikTok. Hi, Deshone. What is the best way to pay off your car early? You should Google that. It's going to be either sending multiple payments and timing the payments. It depends on how you do it. I don't really go into that. You know, some people say you can send 2 payments at once and it'll, send 2 payments 15 days apart instead of sending them once a month. But that's information that you Google. Because, and also you would want to make sure, because every bank could be different in the way they apply it to the principal. So, that's what I would do. There's a lot of different philosophies out there about that. So that's it. Okay. So that's it, y'all. I'm going to jump off. Get your free cheat sheets. That was the whole purpose of me jumping on, besides the questions, is to make sure that if you don't have my free cheat sheets, you go to either Deshone'sCheatSheets.com. We got the link in the YouTube comments. We have the link in the Facebook comments. We have the link in my TikTok bio. Get your free cheat sheets. Start there. There's no risk to you. You can't lose. You don't have to worry about saying, hey, these weren't worth it. They're totally free. And then, as I said, as you start to unlearn the way you've been programmed to car shop, then I would tell you graduate into getting my book and moving into total online car shopping. And once you do that, you'll never be the same. Your finances will never be the same. You'll enjoy car shopping. How about that? I know that might sound foreign to you. You mean I could enjoy actually getting cars? You mean I like, why wouldn't? Why, like, that sounds foreign. I hate the process. I like driving off with the car, but the process. When you switch this and flip the dealers into a competitive market on your behalf, you'll start enjoying shopping immediately, because you're now in control. All right. Great job. Shout out to my man Dolan for bringing in all the questions. I will see y'all on the next stream. Tell your friends about this. We'll leave it up. You can watch the replays. See y'all soon. God bless.